Welcome to Green and Growing, the podcast where we refuse to stay stuck and be ripe and rotting. I'm your host, Wade Perry, and I'm here to help you thrive in every corner of your life, whether it's mindset, business, fitness. We're here for you. Together, we're going to unpack lessons and game-changing strategies to keep you green and growing. Today, I am really excited to welcome Shanne Carvalho. Shanne is a top producing realtor with over 20 years of experience specializing in luxury coastal properties in Santa Cruz and the greater Bay Area. With a background as a general contractor and a mortgage broker, Shanne brings unmatched expertise in real estate, construction, and client service. In this episode, we're going to discuss Shanne's journey, tips for work-life balance, and how building strong client relationships can lead to long-term success. Shanne, welcome to Green and Growing. We had a chance to talk a little bit backstage before we got started. And brother, you have got a heck of a journey. And so let's just jump right into it. You've had an incredible career spanning over 20 years. And what drew you to eXp, and how has its model supported your growth into the luxury market there in the Bay Area?
Yeah, well, thanks first of all for having me. It's actually been great chatting with you as well. I mean, obviously we have some similar things in our journey, and so yeah, I love that we're aligned in so many ways. I mean, as far as myself, this is actually, believe it or not, I got to keep updating it everywhere. It's my 25th year this year. You know what I
Okay,
mean? Like sometimes
25.
you look at your bio in certain places, like, wait, it says 16 years. It's like, or then the headshot, the headshot that got old. But anyway, yeah, no, 25 years. So look, I've been with eXp for 4 years. It was introduced to me like 7 years ago, and gosh, don't I wish I'd come sooner. But when it was first introduced to me, I'm old school. I'm not very techie. They're talking about this corporate world on the cloud and all this stuff, and I'm like, this is some foo-foo like fad thing that's gonna pass. Like these guys are doing real estate like in a video game. I just thought it was like the biggest joke in the world. And then what made it happen was COVID. All of a sudden, they wouldn't let us go work in our office. I had made a nice custom office I worked at a boutique brokerage, and me and another broker, he also worked there. His office was down the hall from me. We're like the only two teams that were in the building during that time trying to work. But
Wow.
then because of a county ordinance or whatever, our broker's like, well, you can't be in the building. I'm like thinking, heck, I'm paying all this money and split to like have a place to work. Like this is, and then at that time, I got, my sponsor kind of in my ear. I had been there was a lot of Zooms during COVID, as you guys know, right? Everybody's on Zooms trying to
Yeah.
understand what's happening to our world. Like we're collaborating with other agents across the country. Well, I met Mike, Sherrard, who's my sponsor, and
Yep.
he was a big marketer, a big real estate marketer. And I go, you know what? I'm not very techie. The hole in my game is I don't have this really fancy real estate marketing. I'd love to like talk to this guy more. And when I talked to him, he had just joined eXp. And so then Connor, who had brought him in, they got me on a Zoom, like, hey, why don't you come over here? I'm like, oh boy, here we go again. The dog and pony show of like the fad. So yeah, about 4 years ago, I came over, and I came over because of the fact that when they ran the numbers for me, I was like, shoot, I could have kept that extra 150 grand in my own pocket. And there's insurance and there's stock. And so then I'm looking back at the end of the first year, and I had a $250,000 delta. Like I was $250,000 better between stock and split. And I was like, okay, thank God these guys came along, because I mean, holy moly. And then, I mean, I don't want to take you off track, but I mean, I'll tell you what,
No,
the
you're
other thing
good.
that I never
Keep
thought
going.
was going to happen, the insurance. I've always tried to have, ever since that whole Obamacare thing, self-employed people like me in California just got wrecked on insurance. Just there was no options for us that were good. And this EXP insurance, I said, what the heck? It's only $300 for the best coverage. I'll try it. Well, I didn't know I was gonna have cancer. What a lifesaver that was. Like that ended up being almost the most valuable part about this whole thing, honestly,
I
because
was just going to say
it saved my
the
life, but it's probably equivalently as much money as you know what I mean? Like, but
health insurance is something that realtors do not get because we're all 1099 self-employed.
right,
Self-insuring comes in two colors, red and blue, and they're both terrible.
right,
And as you and I shared off stage, we're both cancer warriors, and I know what those bills look like, Shanne. And the Clearwater health insurance offered through eXp probably saved your life financially as well as physically.
right. No,
I'm just
agreed.
guessing.
Agreed. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's amazing what it costs. Even the cash price, because since it's health share, it's like the cash price, probably $250,000 in treatment
Yeah.
already. And it
Oh,
just that
easy.
would have been devastating to come out of your net income. You would have to make like 500,000 to pay that 250,000, right? That's just crazy.
Hearing, I'm going to go higher. I'm going to say,
Okay.
hearing about your particular cancer and knowing what I know, I think you would have been closer to north of 500,000. So it would have been more like $1 million of cash
Oh
out of
yeah.
pocket to cover
I
that, or
agree. I agree,
pre-tax.
especially for insurance, like when you don't have the rates. Yeah, no, I agree with you. I guess
So
just
we're going to get
initially.
into some of this EXP. We like to say at eXp that we are the most agent-centric brokerage on the planet.
Right.
And what that really means for all of you listeners out there is that we work at a brokerage, eXp Realty, that pours in to tools and benefits that aren't just about how do we sell more real estate, but how do we live a better life. And Shanne, would you agree that you've had that experience, that the comment of we're the most agent-centric brokerage, it's not just lip service, that it is that way? Do you feel that way?
I do feel that way because it's always being put on us, like what do you need, what direction are we going, and there's so much interaction because I don't like corporate. I was never going to be able to work corporate in my life. I can't handle that whole game. But
Mm.
this is a company where you're talking to everybody at every level and they're coming to you and they're asking you for your input. And being like an icon agent, being part of that program, it's like we're like leading because we're the top producers in the brokers. They want to know, hey, what do you guys need? Oh, you need this luxury platform? Let's do it. Like, what do you? And so it's like, instead of like they're in their seats, yeah, we've been doing this for years. I used to be at, Coldwell, wherever, whatever brokerage or whatever company that they were involved in, because the executives move around and they already
Yep.
know it all. Like, they just do what they do and go to their own conferences and stuff. No, they're like, this is different here. Like, Glenn had this beautiful idea. He built this machine. Now, like, let's support him with our talents from our different backgrounds. Let's support them while working with the people that make it happen, because without us there is no brokerage. And I wish that
Correct.
more brokerages would understand that if you actually really went to your people, you'd be a lot more successful, because then it's like the right hand doesn't talk to the left hand, right? Oh yeah, they want leads, so let's do this. Well, maybe the agents already went that way and in this market that's not working, or maybe that's not what they want. Like, right? It's like when you're in counter offers in a transaction, maybe it's not price, maybe it's something else. Why don't you find out what the problems are before you try to address what you think it is, right? And so I think that's a big part of the age centric, like, and then also the ownership. Where else do you own like half the brokerage? Like, I think those are the two main points. I mean, obviously I go on and on with other things, but I think those are
Yeah.
probably two of the more important ones.
Let's dig into those two real quick. And where I'm thinking about this is because, as I mentioned off screen, I managed an office of 75, the luxury office for Coldwell Banker here in Denver,
Oh my.
and brick and mortar, obviously. And Denver is not the Bay Area in terms of pricing, but you can relate to this. We had to
Right.
sell $30 million a month just to turn the lights on. That was
30
no
million?
profit. 30 million a month just to turn the lights on.
That's a lot
And
of
so
volume there.
yeah, it's a lot. So when I look at the fact that eXp is the largest brokerage in America in terms of transactions and an agent count, and they're cloud based, and by not having brick and mortar, it's easy for them to listen to Shanne and Wade talk about here's what we need, because they then have the money to invest in those tools that we say we need. Your big
Right.
traditional brick and mortar brokerage, they don't listen as well. I'm not saying they don't listen at all, but they don't listen as well because they don't have the resources to be able to build what they need to pour back into them. So
Mm-hmm.
I think that from the cloud-based standpoint, we get a lot more back from that. And speak to this, if you would, when it comes to, because you alluded to it, the ownership piece. And I've talked to people and explained to them that this is different because agents at eXp, doesn't matter if you're in another state or next door, and it doesn't matter if you're a massive mega team icon agent or if you're brand new, they're all willing to help. Have you found that?
That's well, and I didn't know if you wanted to go into that at that point, but yeah, that's the other thing I
Yeah.
was going to say is it's the only place I've ever been where everybody collaborates, everybody wants to help everyone. Because it was always like this thing about everybody for themselves. Even the last brokerage, I get invited because I'm primarily a listing agent. I get invited to speak at like they'd set up like a company luncheon, like for the branch or whatever. Like even multiple branches would come to our branch for like I remember the last listing presentation I did on how to be a better listing agent and luxury and everything else. So I'm like mumbling. But what I did was I set up like sushi. I brought in sushi because I wanted to provide lunch stuff, and I did this whole lunch and learn thing. And I give them packets, give them all the information, and I can't tell you how many agents came up at the end. Were like, "How come you share all this stuff? Like, why do you like? You're not supposed to give away all your secrets and everything." And it's like that whole mentality. That's the whole mentality across the industry. And then a couple of things to say about that. One is there's always enough for everybody out there. Secondly, 99.5% of you will never apply any of this. And third, like, hey, if you can master it at my level, then go back to number one. There's enough business for everybody, you know? So it's like
Exactly.
I don't need an advantage. I'll beat you toe to
No.
toe. I don't need an advantage. You know what I mean? It's like that's the
Mhm.
whole thing. Is like they feel like you need this kind of advantage. You don't. If you really are as good as you say you are on social media when you're posing next to your fancy cars or whatever, then go get it done. You know what I mean? Like that's what
Mhm.
it comes down to. I
So when
I'll
you
tell you
think,
everything. You can follow me around every day. You can listen to every phone call I have. I'm not saying I'm the best. I'm good at what I do, and I know a lot of other people are really good at what they do. But it's like if you're willing to put in the work and do what you need to do, you're going to be successful. Sharing how you're successful, your style's not going to work for everyone.
nope.
There's people that are, I'm the open house agent. I'm the door knocking agent. You know what? I'm the sphere, warm market, repeat. Like I'm like the relationships guy. Like 90% plus of my business, they keep coming back. It's the relationship. That's how I do it. People like to do mailers. I know people that don't like to talk to people. They want to just turn and burn. We're gonna mail $20,000 a month, turn and burn. I know other people, I don't want to produce. I just want to have a team and make a percentage. I just want to manage my team. I don't want to do production. That's fine. There's something for everybody, but then share. Like who cares? Like that's anyway, that's my take on
So
that.
the ownership piece of eXp, where we own stock in the company, publicly traded, and we receive shares for doing what we're supposed to do. We
Yeah.
receive shares for producing real estate at a certain level. And
Hmm.
last year, eXp gave $283 million back to its agents. $283 million back to its agents,
I
which
love
is
that.
unheard of. But that ownership piece is what allows people like Shane and myself to collaborate, to give away things, because we
Right.
know the more we help each other, the better eXp does, and that drives stock price. And you are absolutely correct. One of my mentors, Julie Gelfond, massive luxury agent here in Denver, was part of my office. And I'll never forget, in the first 6 months I was there, she said, Wade, there's enough business for everybody. There's tons of business out there.
Always.
Everybody can have
Always.
plenty. So operate from a position of gratitude and abundance, not from scarcity. And it sounds like that's what you're
Yes,
doing. It sounds
that's
like what your
that.
people are about too.
Yeah, you nailed it. You nailed it. It's the abundance mindset. That's part of the abundance mindset. I never even correlated that. Like that's so, yeah, you're so on it.
So when you think about the tools that EXP provides. They provide everything. You alluded to it a little bit earlier that, guys, you want to be a door knocking agent, you want to be a mail agent, you want to be a sphere agent. They got these things. We can't do everything that EXP provides. There's not enough hours in the day. We
Never.
only have two
No,
arms, two legs, two
no,
eyes, etc.
no.
Which tools have you found to be really helpful in your personal business as well as, say, your team?
So it's interesting because for me, and this goes back to the beginning of my career, like, look, when I switched from lending into sales, when I picked my brokerage, I wanted a brokerage that had all kinds of training and everything, right? And this is tools and
Right.
everything. What I realized about myself, though, when I got there, I went to a couple of meetings, but then all of a sudden I had a couple of deals to work on. And I noticed for me that learning on the job, like, because I got busy just being a very busy producer. So it's like I personally didn't. ever really take advantage. There's always more tools I can even pay attention to. So like for me, what became important, and I know this is gonna probably not be the answer you want because obviously a lot of my agents use all the other
No,
tools, but for myself, what's really helpful, especially being so busy and ADHD and everything else, it was the convenience. Like now with being in the cloud, if I have to go see one of our brokers, I could just get on my computer and go see my broker. Like all the convenience of being at my desk. I don't have time to go make an appointment with my broker or go to the office. I don't want to have to go. My IT, I'm having problems with my damn thing. You're like, oh, IT right here. Like, so for me, like the tools have been functionality. And that's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, yeah, this is important, but it's not what you're looking at. I don't think it's what you're I think
I
you're
know.
talking about the other stuff, but
No. I wanted to know genuinely what is it? What are the things that help Shane do what he does? And I
well,
couldn't
yeah,
agree with you more because
well, right,
if you are another phrase that we have at eXp, and I know you're familiar with this is where the pros go to grow.
right,
And I thought it was just a slogan until I really got into and understood the power of being cloud based, the world workplace, where
right,
think of it like the Indy 500 and you're in a
right.
race car, right? You're going around and around. And the real critical difference in NASCAR, I'm not a big NASCAR guy, but I'm guessing, is how much time you stay in pit. How
Right,
often do you have to pit? How long do you
right,
stay there? Well, if you've got to go into an office, wait to see a managing broker, hope to God that he's there or she,
right.
and who knows, you may not get an answer for 2 or 3 days, but you can go into the world. And for those of you out there who don't know what the world is, it's our virtual reality where we can literally go and meet with a managing broker in a matter of how long do you wait to talk to your managing broker if you need to go in there?
I mean, couple of minutes, and honestly,
I
and
was gonna, yeah,
I kind of cheat though because my TC goes in there and then she pings me when we're ready,
that's
trying to keep me
okay.
out of the pit, trying to keep me out of the pit.
Yeah,
She'll text me, she's like,
that's right.
"Okay, we're there," but so
Yeah,
look,
you got a question on your CDA. You got a question for a managing broker. You've got a question on technology. Things are fixed really,
right.
really fast, and you
Well,
are
in the
out of that
workplace
pit,
too.
and you're back selling.
Right. And then the workplace. I mean, you can go contact corporate, whoever you want in workplace during direct message. Then there's the posting groups. Now, like, oh, here, I need a referring agent. Like, I don't have an agent to refer this deal to in this place. I just post it. You get a million at your doorstep. Like, back in the day, I used to, like, I was doing a lot of out of business. In fact, in 2014, I was at Century 21 at the time. My claim to fame, I was number one globally for Century 21 in 2014 in outbound referrals. I closed 41 outbound
Woo!
referrals in 2014. But I placed those all myself. So
Uh-oh.
now with workplace and even our network with the Wolfpack, I mean, we got like what 3,000 plus agents, and I've met a lot of them. Like you could name a city, and I probably could name an agent without even looking at my list. But so it's like I
Yep.
have more than ever. That's another thing about eXp is this whole referral and all the things we do. And so, yeah. So when you talk about tools, it's like going online, talk to your brokers. Basically being able to also have the whole corporate like accounting, everything else is there, and then also having like now with the luxury platform, it's like everything is there at your fingertips that I actually utilize. But then aside from that, for my agents, because I'm also a certified mentor, like for my mentees, it's like they're newer, they're gonna take advantage of all the education, all the, like I mean, sometimes I go and talk, on the icon panel, like on a Friday morning and stuff. So there's all
Yep.
those events too that they can go sit and learn. And so all those kind of tools, like I don't really even touch. I'm usually the one teaching, but I know that
Sure.
those are available to my newer agents or my up and coming. And so those are all
Yep.
the extra tools too that are a huge advantage over anywhere I've ever been, right? The whole virtual
Let's
thing is such an advantage.
let's talk about two quick things in there, and one that was really, really an eye opener for me, and I was so glad to hear you touch on it. Was the agent referral program. When I was at Coldwell and you wanted to refer an agent, it was mounds of paperwork, trying to find the person. I mean, it could take all day to get this type of thing done. And then you had to follow up with them. Did the deal close or not? Is my check here? It just was logistically cumbersome. It is probably, it doesn't mean it was a bad system. But then when I
Right.
got here, And I literally went into Workplace. I needed to find an agent in Tampa. One of my sellers here was moving there for a job relo. Literally typed in what I needed, and I had, in less than 2 minutes, there were over 20 people that were like, call this person, call this person, call this person. And amazingly, Shane, about half of them were saying the same person. Reached out to them, went to the agent referral form, which, as you know, takes what, 3 minutes to complete, maybe? And you hit send. I would have a phone conversation. I could call them and talk to them about my client. Here's who they are. And I can vet them and see if they're a good fit.
I always vet them.
Yes, always. You want to know communication style, etc.
And if it's a fit for your client too, if it's a fit for your client's personality.
Bingo. And I talked to this person for 5 to 10 minutes, figured out this was going to be a good fit, filled out the form, hit send, never even thought about it again. 90 days later, here comes a check. Well, thanks. So that agent referral network is massive. But let's take a moment and shift over to the luxury program. So my office in Coldwell Banker was the luxury office of Colorado. So we did a lot of luxury business, and it just was a fit for me. Came to eXp, and I really was kind of wondering, does this exist here? We're all on our own. We work out of our homes. I'm not quite sure. And I found the eXp luxury program, and I could talk about it, but I want the listeners to hear from you. What's your thoughts, your experience? Has it helped your business?
So, well, first of all, when I came over to eXp, one of the reasons a lot of luxury agents weren't coming over was because obviously Glen, Silicon Valley, our logo was very like tech engineer type, like, you know what I mean? It's like, and I love Glenn. This is not even a knock, but it's just when you look at the logo, it's like, yeah, he's obviously a brilliant mind, the engineer, like, and then he's not a luxury property marketer like myself. So it's like, that logo and my business were very different things. And so it's like a lot of clients out there, especially when I came over and I had to bring over some listings and stuff, because I do sell luxury here. I mean, I don't do a lot of super luxury, and we don't have a lot of super luxury here. I mean, top of the market for us here is 10, 12 million. But
Okay.
but basically, it just, there was this whole thing about, yeah, your brokerage is new agents, they don't do luxury, and so it's like we needed to have some kind of substance and the extra, but then also we needed the collaboration. So having the luxury thing and having the tag and everything, that's only a part of it. I don't think they didn't realize that what made it was the collaboration of all of us finding each other within the brokerage, and then all of us collaborating and telling them, hey, here's what we need so we can look good and bring this kind of business in. And so, I mean, look, the luxury program just came in here in the last, year and a half, 2 years. So it's like
it's about 2 years, and it really ramped off in the last 12 to 18 months.
Right. But, and I came in right at the beginning, but I've been part of this whole, And so
the materials that you are provided through eXp Luxury, I can say from my standpoint that they stack up to any company, Liv Sotheby's, Coldwell Banker Luxury,
right,
Ingalls and Volkers, Compass. In fact, if I'm not mistaken,
they do.
The person at the top of eXp Luxury built the luxury departments of Sotheby's and Compass, and has now come here to build ours over the last 2 years. And when you go and sit in front of somebody with your luxury materials, feels good, doesn't it?
No, it does. And the thing is that, like, look, when they first started, like, we've been ramping with them, they really made it work for everybody, because some of us had feedback in different markets and things. And the other thing too is, like, also, like, all the stats and all the different platforms and sites, because now that we have our own luxury, now we can be populated to some of the places that Sotheby's and everybody else went to. So I mean, look, the luxury it definitely has helped. It's definitely helped me find other people in my situation. It's also helped me solidify. I hardly get questioned anymore, but especially most of my clients are repeat anyway. They trust me, but it's like now there's no more doubt though with people that might not know me. There's no more question if eXp does luxury or not,
Right. Well, it's funny. I was literally just on the phone with one of my luxury clients here, and we don't touch 10 to 12 million in Colorado. So I'm going to tell you that 10 to 12, unless you're in Aspen,
I was
But
gonna say, yeah, Aspen. Oh, but you probably don't do too much that far.
we
Got it.
don't we don't get, yeah, Aspen's about 4 hours away. But
Yeah.
luxury here is probably anything from 1.5 million up to about 5 million. And we do have a couple
That's
properties in town that'll go a little higher. But with that said, he actually called me because he got his weekly report, his luxury exposure report, where his listing, his property has been pushed out to 43 different countries. It's in Barron's, it's in the Wall Street Journal, it's in
right.
Upmarket, it's in 7 different of the highest
That's what
luxury
I'm talking about.
publications.
Yeah. Yeah.
Phenomenal. I mean, it's just a
That's
wonderful,
big.
wonderful program.
Right.
Um,
Agreed.
hey, we've got about 5 to 10 more minutes, and I want to dive into when you talk to agents or anybody out there that's listening and they're considering a move to eXp. What do you say about the flexibility of the platform, rev share opportunities, and one knock that some people like to say is, oh, there are no offices, so you get no support. What are the things you would share with agents that have maybe heard about eXp, or maybe they saw a little but they're not sure? What would you share with them? What was your experience
Well,
like?
I mean, look, like when I moved, I told you when I looked for my first brokerage, I moved out of lending. I wanted training. Training was such a big deal. Then I got there and it's like really training on the job, having some support, right? It's like, people make such a thing about what they feel like they need, right? Like, oh, we need an
Mhm.
office. But then they have an office, they don't even go there. Like, so it's like, it's, they don't like, it's almost like people are always looking for a reason why something's not going to work because that gives them a safety net for not being successful. So if we really want an office, well, we do have the Regis thing. I also have a
Yep.
physical branch right here. So if you're in my market, I have a nice physical branch with a nice big commercial printer scanner, some area where you can lounge, you got a sofa, you got a fridge. I mean, like you can come in anytime, 24/7. It's always there. If I get enough of a demand in other markets I have agents, I'm happy to open up a little spot need be. But you have the Regis offices where you can, go plant your fee if you want to, but it's like realistically, how many clients are we even meeting in offices anymore? Like we're not even driving our clients around. They usually meet us at a property or follow us somewhere. Like you don't need an office. So that like I have that conversation. I just had that conversation last week. Well, I go into my branch and you know what? I'm like ADHD. When I was in my branch, before I had my own like little private wing, when I had my private wing, people started lining up at my door to talk to me. But when I was in the general population, I couldn't get anything done because I talk to
No.
everybody. I don't get any work done. Like right now, I'm at my home office where I have this thing. But I mean, if I'm at my office, I have my real estate assistant there, and it's usually not too many people there in and out. So like, I can't be around a lot of people because I won't get anything done. It's like when people tell me they go to the office to go get work done, I call BS. I call BS. Like you can't study when everybody's trying to talk to you. If you're gonna go to
Yeah.
a training or something, that's fine. But you can do all these trainings online. So yeah, the whole office thing, like that's just like whatever. That's not even a thing. I think that there's a couple things, right? So one is, for people that maybe don't necessarily want to have to pay all those desk fees and stuff, some of these brokerages still start charge $2,000 or $3,000 a year to have your desk. Well, here,
More than that. Some
yeah.
of them charge 1,800 a month.
Oh wow. So, and I'm
Yeah.
not as familiar with that, but so I guess what I'm trying to say is that look, $85 a month to have your license hung, and you can work wherever the heck you want. And then your E&O gets paid per transaction because a lot of brokerages make you pay your E&O premium annually and you don't get to do the per transaction, right? So it's like your overhead as an actual agent is so low. And then the flexibility because everything's in the cloud, it's just there's just so much of an advantage, right? We're also COVID proof. They locked down, no problem. We're fully going,
Yep.
excess like we're rolling, right? And in fact, EXP braced at the beginning of COVID because they thought things were going to drop. Well, I came in during that time and they were so short-handed. Everything took so long because they were cutting back instead of growing. We're the brokers that grew through COVID because of the fact that we were resilient like that. So yeah, I mean, that's a no-brainer. Like you can't poke holes in this platform in this company. There's not a
No.
better place to be. And I don't say that out of emotion. I say that out of fact. And I tell people that all the time. I go, you know what? We may not always be the best. Maybe someone else will come and be better. That's always possible, right? Like someone could come and be better. But right
Sure.
now, if you talk about if you just overall, like if you talk about overall what you get here, look, I love some of these other brands. I'm not knocking any other brand, but if you're
No.
looking if you want to be like the most innovative, the most the most efficient, and if you want to have the most flexibility, if you want to be in 26, 27 countries, like if you want access, there's nobody out there. Like, like back when I was
Mm.
jumping at Century 21 and all these different, you're a Coldwell Banker. Like, remember those days? Like there was
Yeah.
something like, is the grass greener? What can I get here?
Right.
What do I get there? It's not even like that anymore. Like, who are you gonna compare us to? One of the imitators? Like, how are you gonna compare to, like, you know what I mean? So it's like there is nothing better. It's just that some people aren't ready for this. I wasn't ready for this till 4 years ago. I wish I was ready
Yeah.
for this 7 or 8 years ago. With as much production as I do, with the amount of stock I would have bought, with the amount of agents I would have brought in, I mean, I'm not like dwelling on that. I don't want to be negative. I'm just saying,
No.
like, I just that it's not always the right time, and it's too much. Some people, I almost feel like some people fear their own success. Some people
Oh,
fear that they're actually
absolutely.
going to find an easy way, because there's never supposed to be an easy way. They're going to find a way to their success that can be intimidating. I mean, like, and for other people, it's lack of discipline. Some people can't do this. Some people can't be at home or be, like they just don't have the discipline. They're going to sleep in, they're
Sure.
going to be, whatever, screwing around, scrolling the internet, whatever. Like, you have to be disciplined, but that has nothing to do with the platform you use. That's just your own
No.
personal thing. So it's like, if you need a babysitter, I got to go to the office. That's a whole different problem. I mean, I don't know, I probably went
One of the
on that, but you
things
know what I'm
that
saying.
you brought up that was very, very good, and that is you go to the office, you really don't get anything done. We used to have a joke that the two quietest places on earth are a monastery and a real estate office before noon. There's
It's so
nobody
true.
there.
It's
All
so
right.
true.
Don't kid yourself. The other thing that you said that was so spot on, Shane, is that, and I used to say to people when they were thinking about moving brokerages, the things that are holding you back where you are going to be the same things that hold you back where you go. And you'll find them in the mirror every morning when you put on your mascara or shave. It's you. And the thing about
True.
eXp is we remove all the excuses. You have over 80 hours of training a week. You have every tool that I've ever heard of at any brokerage that I've ever talked to. And I talked to all of them when I was a managing broker. You have a collaborative nature. You have stock ownership. You can work from anywhere. You want a Regis office to go meet with someone, you can, and it's free. There are no excuses. Burn the ships. This is where the pros go to grow for a reason. So, Shane, I love that you're seeing all the things that I'm seeing. Um, I know that you've got to get somewhere in a couple of minutes. So I want to take a moment to have you share with the audience the general geographic area that you work in, if you are a realtor or if you are a member of the public looking for a top level expert in real estate, Shanne Carvalho is the guy you got to talk to. Shane, give us a little something about where you work and how people can reach you.
So I live here on the Monterey Bay, which is just south of Silicon Valley. So I live on the north end of the bay, in a little place called Rio Del Mar, which is part of Aptos, which some people
Okay.
know Santa Cruz. So I'm about 10 minutes south of Santa Cruz, just right here on the beautiful Monterey Bay. So yeah, the Silicon Valley at Los Gatos is about 30 minutes from me. And then, I can be in downtown San Jose in about 40 minutes. And so, I mean, I service like here, Santa Cruz County, Monterey County, San Benito County, Santa Clara County. San Francisco is about an hour, 15 minutes north up the peninsula. So, yeah, this is essentially where I work. I'm also trilingual. I mean, I'm fluent in Portuguese, English, Spanish.
Wow.
My team also speaks, a bunch of different languages. Michael speaks Mandarin. I got, people that speak Hindu. I mean, we probably cover about 10 to 15 languages within the group, and we love referrals. We do referrals in and out, and just, we're full
Share
service.
with people, how they can reach you.
Honestly, like, I'm even fine with you putting my number in the comments, but I always have like my cell phone, my 831-588-2374. I've had that for years. That's always with me. And then, I mean, honestly, out of all the social media platforms, Instagram is somewhere that I do spend more time on and have a pretty good organic following there. But it's a Shanne Carvalho RE team. It's Shanne Carvalho _ RE _ team. Um, a lot of people message me there or communicate on there, but yeah, and I mean, obviously LinkedIn, I'm on LinkedIn. My YouTube channel I don't do too much with. It's just more putting up some property videos. But our Top Producing Zone podcast, we have a YouTube channel for that. And people do comment and support in there. We communicate there. But yeah, no, I'm
Awesome.
easy to reach, and I'm actually still the guy. So if you reach out to me, you reach out to me, not, I have
That's
support,
even better.
but I'm the guy.
So
I'm so old school.
basically, buyers and sellers and realtors that want to go to the next level that are somewhere in the Santa Cruz, San Francisco, Monterey Bay area. It doesn't matter what language you speak. We've got 10 different languages on the team. And if you want to keep up with Shanne and his group, check out his podcast. It's on KGCI. All right. And it's called the
Top Producing Zone podcast.
Top Producing Zone. It's on KGCI and podcasts. Go check them out. If you need to buy and sell, if you need to up your game as a realtor, Shanne Carvalho is going to be your guy. All right. Shanne, I can't tell you how much fun this was. Even though I just met you an hour ago, getting to know your story before we got started. You and I are going to be kindred for a long, long time. Fellow cancer survivors, cancer warriors, people that believe in living in abundance. And it's amazing how many people like you and me that I find at eXp. It's really incredible. And I think it just attracts people like us. And who knows, maybe you're a listener out there and you want to be attracted. If you're in and around Colorado, give me a call. If you're in and around the Bay Area, talk to Shanne. Shanne, it was a genuine pleasure.
Yeah, no, it's great meeting you. We definitely need to follow up. I'm really glad I got a chance to meet you and talk to you, and thanks for reaching out as well. Really
we're gonna have some fun. We're gonna share books. We're gonna share tips on how to eat, supplements, etc. It's gonna be great. Hey, thank you everybody for joining us in this episode of Green and Growing. If this episode sparked something in you, don't forget to like it, comment, and subscribe wherever you listen. Stay connected with us on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube for more inspiration and exclusive content. And remember, life's about progress, not perfection. Cheers to Green and Growing, and we'll see you next time. Welcome, everybody, to the latest episode of Green and Growing. I'm your host, Wade Perry of the Perry Properties Group at eXp.